The rest of my conversation with President Trump's top economic advisor, Kevin Hassett. Talk to me about the tariff announcements last night and what you foresee coming as markets today say, wait a minute, these are a little bit higher. Canada's really high. We're going to start seeing in the third and fourth quarter, rather, of this year, more downside economic risks.
Right. Well, the bottom line is that we've had lots of tariff revenue coming in, more than about $130 billion since the tariffs were first put in place. Inflation is at a 5-year low. We just had a 2.1 print in the GDP release for their measure of inflation. And so we've got lots of revenue from tariffs, and we haven't seen it disrupt GDP, and we haven't seen it cause inflation. And so I think that that's what people should expect to continue, because especially with the rates at the size that they are, around 10–15%, most of them.
And Kevin, also this morning, the president wrote on his social media platform, the board, meaning the Federal Reserve Board, should assume control. Is he calling for the Federal Reserve Board to oust Jerome Powell, to stage some sort of internal uprising? And wouldn't that also create waves within the perceived and important independence of the Fed?
The Federal Reserve Board is independent. We respect its independence. The president respects its independence. It has a duty, a sworn duty, to pursue a dual mandate of low inflation and low unemployment. And I think that it's the judgment of the president that they've been performing very poorly at the job. And remember that it's a committee, and so the members of the committee could vote to cut rates if they saw the data that the rest of us were seeing, and they chose not to. And I'm, as a person who worked at the Fed, I worked with Alan Greenspan back in the day, and I've talked about Fed independence and how much I care for it throughout my career on television. And I just find it concerning that the Fed is so far behind the curve, given the low inflation and the numbers that Governor Waller cited in his dissent. And I'm also concerned of the appearance that all the Democrats are voting on one side and the Republicans are voting on another. That's not the way the Fed should be. These people should be data-driven, and they should be pursuing their two goals, not political goals. And if you look at the pattern of Fed actions recently, then there does appear to be some kind of political influence. Again, looking for the big rate cut right before the election and so on.
Kevin, right before I let you go, last question. You talked about being data-driven. ADP had soft job numbers that were not in the BLS numbers, the Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers, for the last 2 months. Now they've been revised closer to what the private sector payroll estimates were. Do you believe there is softening in the jobs market in this country, or there at least was in the last couple of months?
The ADP number's relationship to the jobs number has been sort of hit and miss over time. But I think that if we believe these revisions and we say that they're, and they are definitely associated with the softening that you see in ADP, then you would say, yes, that the job market is slowing down a little bit. But again, the big, beautiful bill just passed at the beginning of July. And so I think that there's a lot of optimism ahead here in the White House for economic growth and job creation.
We will measure and discuss that optimism, should it play out, or in whatever direction it takes. And I hope you will be along for that conversational journey. Kevin Hassett, I appreciate your time.
Thanks.